The massive space station called Nexus Prime floated in the darkness between stars. It was bigger than most moons and home to the Galactic Confederation. Thousands of alien ships moved around it like busy insects. Inside the main council chamber, representatives from 12 different alien worlds sat in a wide circle. Ambassador Zekther stood at the center of the room. His green, scaly skin gleamed under the bright lights. The tall reptilian alien looked around at his fellow council members, with yellow eyes that held no warmth. Today they would decide the fate of the newest species to join their galaxy. The humans of Earth, Commander Jake Morrison, sat quietly in a small chair designed for much larger beings. His blue uniform looked plain next to the colorful robes and armor of the alien delegates. Next to him, Dr. Lisa Grant wrote notes on a small tablet. She was the only other human in the room filled with strange creatures. Fellow council member Zekther began, his voice echoing off the metal walls. We gather today to discuss these creatures called humans. They have recently discovered faster-than-light travel. The question is simple. Do they deserve a place? Among civilized species, sound like grinding metal filled the room. It was laughter from the insectoid delegate. Hive Queen Zatra stood 8 feet tall, on 6 legs. Her black shell reflected the ceiling lights. Civilized, she clicked. Have you seen their planet? They fight wars over everything. Water, land, ideas. They even fight about what color their skin should be. More laughter came from around the circle. The delegate from the ethereal collective floated above his seat like a ball of blue light. Lumera spoke without moving any mouth. His words appeared directly in everyone's mind. Their technology is pathetic. They still use chemical rockets to leave their planet. My people were traveling between dimensions when they were still living. In caves, Commander Morrison kept his face calm. Dr. Grant wrote down every insult. She had studied these alien races for months. She knew their weaknesses, even if they did not know hers. Let me show you something amusing, said Velkarin, the slug-like scientist from the Molten Worlds. His slimy fingers worked a control panel. A large screen appeared in the air above them, showed Earth from space. The blue and green planet looked small and fragile. This is their homeworld, Velkarin continued. Population 7 billion. They have divided their single planet into nearly 200 separate territories. Each group claims to be better than the others. They spend more resources on weapons than on feeding their own people. The screen changed to show human cities. Smoke rose from factories. Cars filled busy streets. Look at this primitive industry, the alien scientist laughed. They burn fossil fuels and poison their own air. No wonder they have not spread to other worlds yet. A new voice spoke from across the room. It belonged to General Thaxmer of the warrior clans. His people look like walking tanks made of living metal. Their military forces are a joke. Small projectile weapons, chemical explosives, aircraft that cannot even leave the atmosphere. The youngest soldiers could conquer their entire planet in one day. Now, said Ambassador Yolandra from the Trade Federation. Her people looked like tall, thin humans with purple skin, and for arms perhaps they could be useful. Every civilization needs workers for dangerous jobs. In mining asteroids, cleaning waste systems, basic labor. Commander Morrison finally spoke. His voice was steady and polite. Honored delegates, we understand your concerns about humanity. We are young and still learning. All we ask is for the chance to prove ourselves worthy of joining your confederation. This brought fresh laughter from the council. Zekther raised one clawed hand for silence. Human, your species shows promise in some areas. You breed quickly and seem to adapt well to different environments. However, your violent nature and primitive technology make you unsuitable for full membership. Reptilian Ambassador walked closer to Morrison. The council has decided. Humanity will be classified as a primitive carbon-based entity. You will have no voting rights in Confederation matters. Your ships may not travel beyond your home system without special permits. Trade with other species will be limited to basic raw materials only. Dr. Grant looked up from her notes. What about scientific exchange? Medical research? Cultural programs? Denied, Zekther said without thinking. where people have nothing to offer more advanced civilizations. Perhaps in a few thousand years, you will develop something worth our attention. Hive Queen Zatra stepped forward on her clicking legs. I propose we use their world for food production. My people need more protein sources. These humans breed fast enough to provide a steady supply. An interesting idea, mused Lumera, though they might serve better as test subjects for new medical procedures. Their biology is similar enough to other species to provide useful data. Commander Morrison stood up slowly. Every alien I turn toward the small human, we accept your classification and restrictions. However, I request that Earth be allowed to continue developing without interference. We will not cause trouble for the Confederation. How refreshing, Ziegler smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. A primitive species that knows its place. Very well, human. Your world will be left alone as long as you stay within your system boundaries. Break those rules, and the Confederation will take action. The council session ended with the aliens discussing other business. Commander Morrison and Dr. Grant were escorted from the chamber by robotic guards. As they walked through the station's long corridors, neither human spoke. They passed by windows showing the vast emptiness of space and the lights of alien ships. Back in their small quarters aboard the human vessel New Horizon, Dr. Grant finally broke the silence. They have no idea what they are dealing with, do they, Jake? Morrison smiled for the first time that day. No, Lisa, they really don't. Did you get everything recorded? Every word, every insult, every threat. She held up her tablet. Command will want to know exactly how these species think about us. Good. Send the report as soon as we clear there. Communication range. Morrison looked out at the alien space station through a small window. They think we are primitive animals. That might be the best thing that could happen to us. Dr. Grant nodded. Underestimated enemies often win wars. This isn't about war, Lisa. It's about survival. Ooh. And sometimes the best way to survive is to let others think you are weak while you grow strong. The New Horizon undocked from Nexus Prime 12 hours later. As the small human ship moved away from the massive alien station, its crew began the long journey home to Earth. Behind them, the Galactic Confederation continued its business. It's comfortable in the knowledge that humanity posed no threat to their established order. None of the aliens noticed the strange energy. Readings that followed the human ship as it jumped faster than light speed. None of them wondered why a primitive species had developed such smooth and efficient space travel so quickly. They were too busy congratulating themselves on handling the human problem with wisdom and restraint in the depths of space. Ancient systems that had slept for 50,000 years began to stir. The return of humans to the galactic community had triggered something that none of the current civilizations understood. Deep beneath Earth's surface, in places that humans called sacred sites, old machines started to warm up for the first time. Since the last ice age, the Galactic Confederation had made their first mistake about humanity. It would not be their last. 3 months had passed since the humans left Nexus Prime. The Galactic Confederation had almost forgotten about the primitive species from the small blue planet. Life continued as normal across the galaxy. Trade ships moved between worlds. Diplomatic meetings solved small problems. The great machine of galactic civilization kept turning. Dr. Velteron floated in his laboratory aboard the Science Directorate's main research station. The tall, gray alien had 4 arms and skin that looked like wet rubber. He was considered the smartest being in the Confederation. His job was to study new worlds and catalog their resources. Computer, begin Deep Scan Protocol 779, he said to the air. His voice sounded like water bubbling in a pipe. Target system Sol. Priority level routine. The massive scanning array powered up. It was the size of a small moon and filled with the most advanced sensors in the galaxy. The machine could look through solid rock and detect energy patterns from light years away. It had mapped thousands of worlds and found countless treasures hidden beneath alien soil. 3 junior scientists worked at control panels nearby. They were young members of different species, all eager to prove themselves. None of them expected anything interesting from the human homeworld. Scan commencing, announced the computer. Estimated completion time for hours. The energy beam shot across space faster than light itself. It reached Earth's solar system in minutes and began its work. First it mapped the outer planets, gas giants with their dancing moons, asteroid belts full of metal and ice. Nothing unusual there. Then the beam reached Earth. At first everything seemed normal. The scanners detected iron and nickel in the planet's core, silicon and oxygen in the rocky layers, carbon compounds in the thin atmosphere, water covering most of the surface, a typical life-bearing world with no special resources. Dr. Velteron
Was already thinking about lunch when the first alarm
sounded. Sir called his assistant, a young reptilian female named Seclara. We are getting some odd readings from the third planet. Define odd, Velteron said without looking up from his notes. The quantum resonance detector is showing massive energy signatures, but they seem to be coming from beneath the surface. That got the senior scientist's attention. He glided over to look at her screen. The display showed Earth as a green and blue ball, covered in swirling clouds. But beneath the surface, bright red dots pulsed with impossible energy levels. Run a diagnostic on the equipment, he ordered. Those readings cannot be correct. Another assistant, a being made of living crystal, spoke up. Sir, I have completed 3 diagnostics. All systems are working perfectly. The energy signatures are real. Double quotes. Dr. Velteron stared at the screen. In his 40 years of scanning planets, he had never seen anything like this. The energy levels were off the charts. They suggested technology far beyond anything the Confederation possessed. Increase scan depth by 50%, he commanded. I want to know what is down there. The scanning beam grew stronger. It pushed deeper into Earth's crust and mantle. The red dots on the screen became brighter and more numerous. They seemed to be connected by thin lines of energy that formed a complex pattern across the entire planet. Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, Captain Alex Turner sat in the command chair of the human colony ship Endeavour. The large vessel was carrying 5,000 volunteers to establish humanity's first settlement beyond. Earth Turner was a veteran space pilot with gray hair and tired eyes. Captain, his communications officer called out, I am picking up some strange radio chatter. Lieutenant Amy Davis was young and sharp. She had trained at the Naval Academy and graduated top of her class. Her job was to monitor all alien transmissions and watch for threats to human ships. What kind of chatter? Turner asked. Multiple Confederation channels are suddenly very active. Emergency frequencies, military bands, even their diplomatic networks. Something has them excited. Turner frowned. The aliens had ignored humanity for months. Why the sudden interest? Can you decode any of it? Working on it now, sir? Davis typed rapidly at her console. The translation software is having trouble. The aliens are using a lot of technical terms we don't have in our databases. On Earth, Dr. Ben Carter was having a very strange day. The middle-aged archaeologist worked at the Smithsonian Institute in Washington. His specialty was ancient civilizations and mysterious artifacts. People often brought him odd objects they found in their backyards or inherited from relatives. Today was different. Every piece of ancient technology in his laboratory was acting up. Stone tablets were giving off heat. Metal objects were humming with electricity. Crystals were glowing with their own inner light. This is impossible, he muttered to himself. Carter had been studying these artifacts for 20 years. They had always been completely inactive. Now they seemed to be waking up from a long sleep. His assistant, Dr. Maria Santos, burst through the door. Ben, you need to see this. The pyramid complex at Giza is showing massive energy readings. So is Stonehenge and Machu Picchu. Dozens of other sites around the world. Carter dropped the glowing crystal he was holding. How massive. Enough to power entire cities. The Egyptian government is in panic. They have cordoned off the pyramids and called in their military. The British are doing the same at Stonehenge. Back on the science station, Dr. Velteron was experiencing his own panic. The scan of Earth had revealed something that should not exist. The energy signatures matched patterns from the Confederation's most ancient and secret archives. Computer, compare current readings with archive file Alpha 77, he commanded. Comparison complete. Pattern match probability 97.4%. The laboratory fell silent. Every scientist knew what archive file Alpha 77 contained. It held the only remaining data about the architects, the mysterious civilization that had built the Galactic Hyperspace Network 50,000 years ago. The architects were legends, gods among aliens. They had possessed technology so advanced that current science could barely understand it. They had created the space lanes that connected every star system. They'd built the energy sources that powered galactic civilization. Then they had vanished without explanation. No one had seen architect technology in living memory. Most aliens believed the ancient race was extinct. Their abandoned installations were considered too dangerous to explore. The few artifacts found over the centuries were locked away in high-security vaults. Now Dr. Velteron was looking at energy signatures that could only come from active architect systems. On a primitive planet inhabited by creatures that barely knew how to leave their own atmosphere. Send an emergency message to the High Council, he whispered. Maximum priority. Tell them we may have found something impossible. Grant was working late in her laboratory when her computer chimed with an incoming message. She had been analyzing tissue samples from various alien species they had encountered at Nexus Prime. Her research might help humans understand their new galactic neighbors. The message was from Dr. Carter at the Smithsonian. She read it twice before the words sank in. Lisa, ancient sites worldwide are showing massive energy spikes. Government teams are investigating, but they don't know what they are looking at. I think this might be connected to our recent contact with aliens. Can you help? Dr. Grant leaned back in her chair. She remembered their laughter and their threats. Now something was happening on Earth that they might not find so amusing. She picked up her secure phone and dialed Commander Morrison's private number. Jake, we need to talk. Something big is happening, and I think it has to do with why those aliens were so interested in keeping us isolated. Across the galaxy, emergency meetings were starting in a dozen different alien capitals. The news was spreading through diplomatic channels and military networks. Now, the primitive humans of Earth were sitting on top of active architect technology. The Confederation had made a terrible mistake. They had assumed that a young species with simple technology posed no threat. They had not considered that Earth itself might be hiding secrets that could change the balance of power in the galaxy forever, in the depths of space. Ancient monitoring systems that had been silent for millennia were stirring to life. The return of human consciousness to the galactic community had triggered wake-up signals that traveled faster than light. Between hidden installations, something that had been sleeping was beginning to remember its purpose. The emergency session of the Galactic High Council had been going on for 6 hours. Representatives from every major civilization sat around the massive circular table. The mood was tense and fearful. Never before had the council called an emergency. Meeting about a primitive species, Ambassador Zekther stood at the center of the room. But he was no longer the confident leader he had been 3 months ago. His yellow eyes darted nervously between the other delegates. The scan results from Earth lay spread across holographic displays for everyone to see.
Ow.
The evidence is clear, said Dr. Velteran, his voice shaking slightly. The energy patterns match architect technology with 97% accuracy. There is no other explanation. High Counselor Mordock spoke from his floating throne. The ancient being was the oldest member of the Confederation, having lived for over 800 years. His wrinkled face showed deep concern. In all my centuries, I have never seen active architect systems. Few dead installations we have found were beyond our understanding. But how is this possible? Demanded General Thaxmer. The warrior's metal body clanked as he shifted in his seat. We scanned that system thoroughly before making contact. There were no signs of advanced technology. The scans were shallow, Velteron admitted. We only looked for surface resources and basic energy signatures. Architect systems were buried deep and dormant. Something must have activated them. Hive Queen Zatra clicked her mandibles nervously. Could the humans have found and activated ancient technology by accident? Possible? Scoffed Lumara, the energy being. They lack the knowledge to understand such systems. A primitive species could not accidentally operate architect devices. But even as he said it, doubt crept into his mental voice. The evidence was hard to ignore. The timing was too perfect to be coincidence. On Earth, a joint expedition was preparing. To investigate the mysterious energy sources, Admiral Rick Hayes led the mission. He was a tall man with gray hair and steady hands. His job was to coordinate between human military forces and the small team of alien scientists who had requested permission to study the phenomenon. Dr. Susan Blake walked beside him as they approached the Great Pyramid of Giza. She was a quantum archaeologist, one of the few humans who understood advanced physics well enough to work with alien technology. Her equipment detected energy levels that made no scientific sense. The readings are off the charts, she said, checking her instruments. Whatever is down there has been dormant for thousands of years, but it is definitely waking up. Behind them walked 3 alien scientists. Dr. Velteran had come to Earth personally, along with 2 assistants. They carried scanners that were far more advanced than anything humans possessed, yet even their equipment was struggling to understand what they were seeing. The energy patterns are definitely architect in origin, Velteran said quietly. He had been studying the ancient race for his entire career, but I have never seen systems this complex or this well preserved. The team entered a hidden chamber beneath the pyramid. Ancient hieroglyphs covered the walls, but they were different from anything archaeologists had seen before. These symbols seemed to shift and change as they watched, as if the stone itself was alive. Dr. Blake approached a large crystalline structure in the center of the room, pulsed with soft blue light that matched the rhythm of a heartbeat. It is incredible. The crystal appears to be responding to our presence. Be careful, warned Velteran. Architect technology can be dangerous. We have lost entire research teams to devices that seemed harmless, but Dr. Blake was already reaching toward the crystal. As her hand came within inches of its surface, the entire chamber filled with brilliant light.
Ow!
The hieroglyphs on the walls began to glow and move. The air itself seemed to vibrate with power. Suddenly, holographic images appeared throughout the room. They showed star maps, alien worlds, and advanced spacecraft. But the most shocking image was of Earth itself, as it had looked 50,000 years ago. The planet in the hologram was very different from modern. Massive cities covered the continents. Ships that looked like small moons orbited in space. Advanced beings walked among forests and mountains that no longer existed. My God, whispered Admiral Hayes. Earth was not primitive. It was advanced beyond anything we can imagine. The hologram changed to show the beings who had built this technology. They looked almost human, but taller and more elegant. Their eyes held wisdom that seemed ancient, even by galactic standards. These were the architects, the legendary builders of galactic civilization. This cannot be, muttered one of Velteran's assistants. The architects disappeared before any current species evolved. How could humans be connected to them? Ada! The answer came in the next series of images. The hologram showed the architects conducting experiments with genetics and consciousness. So they were not just building technology, they were building a new kind of life form, species that could survive the collapse of their civilization and carry their knowledge into the future. Dr. Blake watched in amazement as the images showed the creation of early humans. The architects had taken primitive primates and enhanced them with their own genetic code. They had hidden advanced abilities in human DNA, waiting for the right time to activate. "We are not just humans," she said in wonder. "We are the children of the architects, their final creation." The hologram showed the great disaster that had destroyed architect civilization. A war between dimensions had torn apart the fabric of space itself. The architects had known they were doomed, so they had prepared for their children to inherit. The galaxy they had built, hidden installations throughout Earth, pyramids, stone circles, ancient temples. All were actually advanced computers, waiting for human consciousness to mature enough to activate them. The sites that humans called sacred were actually technological marvels disguised as primitive monuments. "This explains everything," Admiral Hayes said, his voice filled with awe. "Our rapid development of space travel, our intuitive understanding of advanced concepts. We are not learning new technology. We are remembering what our ancestors built." Ron was frantically taking notes on his scanner. His scientific mind was struggling to accept what he was seeing. The implications are staggering. Humans are not a primitive species. They are the inheritors of the most advanced civilization in galactic history. The hologram changed again to show modern times. It displayed the human ships that had left Earth and traveled to other worlds. It showed the meeting at Nexus Prime where aliens had mocked humanity, and it showed what was coming next. Ancient systems throughout the galaxy were awakening. The hyperspace lanes that connected every star system were not natural phenomena. They were architect constructions, and they recognized the genetic signature of their creator's children. Human expansion into space was triggering a cascade of activation across the entire galactic network. The Confederation has been using architect technology for thousands of years without knowing it, Dr. Blake realized. The energy sources that power their worlds, the space lanes that connect their systems, all of it was built by our ancestors. Holographic display showed one final image. It was Earth as it would become in the near future. The planet was surrounded by massive space stations and protected by energy shields that could deflect entire fleets. Humans moved freely between worlds, no longer restricted by the fears and prejudices of other species. But the image also showed something else. Other species working alongside humans, learning from them, growing beyond their current limitations. The return of architect knowledge would benefit everyone, not just humanity. "We have a choice to make," Admiral Hayes said slowly. "We can use this knowledge to dominate other species, or we can use it to lift everyone up together." Dr. Blake nodded. "The architects designed us to be teachers, not conquerors. They wanted us to guide the galaxy to a better future." As the team prepared to leave the chamber, the crystal's light began to fade. But the knowledge it had shared would change everything. Humanity was no longer the primitive species that aliens had dismissed. They were the inheritors of a legacy that could transform the entire galaxy. Back on Nexus Prime, the Emergency Council session was reaching a conclusion. The evidence was overwhelming. Humanity had connections to the architects that no other species could claim. The balance of power in the galaxy was about to shift dramatically. "We must contact the humans immediately," High Counselor Mordock declared. "We need to establish new diplomatic relations based on respect and cooperation." But even as he spoke, other council members were making different plans. Some saw opportunity in humanity's new status. Others saw threat. The galaxy was about to become a much more complicated place. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Within days, every alien civilization knew the truth about humanity. The primitive species they had dismissed and mocked were actually the children of the architects. The reaction was swift and chaotic. On the industrial world of Kepler-7, factories shut down as workers rioted in the streets. The metal-skinned Malari had built their entire economy on the belief that they were the most advanced manufacturing species in the galaxy. Now they learned that humans could potentially access technology that made their best machines look like stone tools. Emperor Vexenal stood on his palace balcony watching smoke rise from the burning city below. His forearms trembled with rage and fear. "How could our intelligence networks miss something this important?" he demanded of his advisors. "Sire," There was no way to know, stammered his chief minister. The humans appeared completely primitive. Their technology showed no signs of architect influence. Appeared, the emperor spat. They fooled us all. While we laughed at their simple rockets, they were sitting on the greatest treasure in galactic history. Similar scenes played out on dozens of worlds. The ethereal collective called emergency sessions to discuss whether they should abandon their current dimension and flee to another reality. Trade Federation began hoarding resources, expecting their entire economic system to collapse when humans gained access to architect manufacturing techniques, but nowhere was the panic greater than in the hive worlds of Queen Zatra. The insectoid ruler paced through her egg chambers, her 6 legs clicking rapidly on the metal floor. Around her, thousands of warrior drones stood at attention, waiting for orders. They made fools of us, she hissed to her generals. While we debated using them as food sources, they were preparing to become our masters. General Clickstar, her most trusted military commander, stepped forward. My queen, perhaps we should attempt diplomacy. If the humans truly have access to architect technology, opposing them would be suicide. The queen's mandibles snapped together with rage. Diplomacy? They sat quietly while we insulted them. They planned this from the beginning. Humans are dangerous and deceptive. They must be destroyed before they fully awaken their inherited powers. On Earth, Lieutenant Colonel Dan Foster was experiencing the strangest day of his military career. The veteran officer had been assigned to investigate unusual incidents at human military bases worldwide. What he found defied explanation. At Peterson Air Force Base in Colorado, F-35 fighter jets were performing maneuvers that should have been impossible. Pilots reported that their aircraft seemed to anticipate their thoughts, responding to commands. Before they were given, the plane's computers were accessing databases that did not exist in any known system. Sir, I don't understand what is happening to my aircraft, reported Captain Steve Murphy. The young pilot looked confused and frightened. During yesterday's training flight, my jet's navigation system started showing me hyperspace routes too. Other star systems, I never programmed those coordinates. Foster nodded grimly. You are not the only one, Captain. We are getting similar reports from bases around the world. Our technology is evolving faster than we can understand it. At the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Dr. Rachel Stone was leading a team investigating equally strange phenomena. The space agency's computers had begun displaying star charts of incredible detail. They showed not just the locations of alien worlds, but also the hidden architect installations that connected them. It is like our machines are remembering things. They never learned, she explained to her confused staff. Every human-built computer that reaches a certain complexity level starts accessing information from an unknown source. Her assistant, Dr. Kevin Wright, pulled up a holographic display. Look at this, Rachel. Our Mars colony ships are reporting that their engines are operating at 150% of designed capacity. The fusion reactors are more efficient than our best theoretical models predicted. It is not just efficiency, Dr. Stone replied. The engines are modifying themselves. Adding components that should not exist. Our technology is becoming something beyond our current understanding. Meanwhile, on the edge of human space, something much more dangerous was approaching. Queen Zatra had made her decision. A massive hive fleet was moving toward Earth's solar system, intent on destroying humanity before they could fully access their architect heritage. The fleet consisted of 300 warships, each one the size of a small city. They carried enough firepower to crack planets and had conquered dozens of worlds. Queen Zatra commanded from her flagship, a massive vessel that looked like a giant metal insect floating through space. How long until we reach the human system? She asked her navigation officer. 6 hours, my queen. Should we send a warning message first? Give them a chance to surrender? No, the queen replied coldly. Humans are too dangerous to be allowed to live. We will destroy their worlds quickly and completely. The galaxy will thank us for eliminating this threat. But the approaching hive fleet had triggered something unexpected. Deep within Earth's solar system, ancient guardian systems that had slept for 50,000 years were stirring to life. The architects had not left their children defenseless. On Earth, every major observatory began detecting massive energy signatures throughout the solar system. Objects that had been classified as asteroids or dead moons were suddenly showing signs of artificial construction and enormous power. Generation Dr. Blake was working in her laboratory when the first alerts came in. "This is impossible," she muttered, staring at her screens. "We are detecting at least 20 massive structures that were not there yesterday." Admiral Hayes arrived within minutes. "What are we looking at, Doctor?" "Ancient defensive systems," she replied in wonder. "Hidden throughout our solar system? They have been disguised as natural objects for thousands of years. But something has activated them." The answer came from the Deep Space Monitoring Station on the Moon. Lieutenant Colonel Janet Parker, station commander, sent an urgent message to Earth Command. "We have detected a large alien fleet approaching from the direction of the Crab Nebula. 300 ships, all heavily armed. They will reach Earth in approximately 5 hours. The timing was not coincidental. The Architect defense systems had activated in response to the approaching threat. Humanity's ancient guardians were awakening to protect their children on the approaching hive fleet." Sensor operators began reporting strange readings from the human solar system. What had appeared to be a weakly defended system was now showing energy signatures that dwarfed their entire fleet. "My queen," reported the chief sensor technician, "we are detecting multiple large objects throughout the system. They appear to be artificial constructs of unknown design." Queen Zatra dismissed the report with irritation. "Impossible. Human technology is primitive. Those readings must be sensor errors." But as the fleet drew closer, the readings became impossible to ignore. Ancient guardians were powering up throughout the solar system. Some were hidden inside asteroids. Others had been disguised as moons. A few had been orbiting as space debris for millennia. The largest guardian was concealed within what humans had called asteroid series. As it activated, the rocky outer shell fell away to reveal a structure that was larger than most space stations. It was shaped like a massive ring, with weapons batteries that could destroy entire fleets. On Earth, Captain Julie Barnes was scrambling to coordinate the planet's defenses when the first Guardian came online. The young naval officer had been promoted to head of the new Earth Defense Network only hours earlier. "Captain, we are receiving communication signals from multiple sources throughout the solar system," reported her communications officer. "The messages are in ancient human languages, but they are being automatically translated." "What do they say?" Barnes asked. "Welcome home, children of the architects. Your guardians stand ready to defend you." The High Fleet was still 3 hours away when they encountered the first defensive line. Ancient weapon platforms hidden in the asteroid belt opened fire with energy beams that could slice through any known armor. Hive ships that had seemed invincible moments before were cut apart like paper. Queen Zatra watched in horror as half her fleet disappeared in the first volley. Retreat. All ships retreat immediately, but the Guardians were not finished. They had waited 50,000 years for this moment. Humanity's enemies would face the full fury of Architect defensive technology. The galaxy was about to learn that mocking the children of the Architects had been a fatal mistake. The battle in Earth's solar system lasted only 20 minutes. Queen Zatra's mighty hive fleet, which had conquered dozens of worlds, was completely destroyed by ancient guardians that had waited 50,000 years to protect their charges. Not a single human ship fired a shot. The Architect defense systems handled everything. Captain Julie Barnes watched from Earth's orbital command center as the last hive ship exploded in silent fire. Her screens showed Guardian platforms throughout the solar system powering down and returning to their hidden positions. The ancient protectors had done their job with devastating efficiency. "Captain, we are receiving surrender signals from 3 hive ships that managed to escape," reported her communications officer. "They are requesting safe passage out of the system." Barnes considered for a moment. The Guardians could easily destroy the fleeing ships, but that would only create more fear throughout the galaxy. Grant them safe passage. Let them spread the word about what happens to those who threaten Earth. The surviving hive ships limped away at maximum speed, carrying news of their defeat to every corner of the galaxy. Within hours, the story was spreading through alien communication networks. The humans had defenders that made the Confederation's most advanced weapons. Looked like primitive clubs, but the destruction of the High Fleet was only the beginning. As Captain Barnes soon discovered, the battle had triggered something much larger. Ancient systems throughout the galaxy were awakening in response to the threat against humanity. On Nexus Prime, Bad's Ambassador Zeekther was in his office when every screen in the station began displaying the same message. It appeared in the native language of each species, but the meaning was identical. The children of the architects have returned. The old contracts are now void. New agreements will be negotiated. The reptilian ambassador stared at the message. In growing horror, the old contracts referred to the fundamental agreements that govern galactic civilization. The trade routes, the territorial boundaries, the resource allocation systems. Everything was controlled by ancient architect installations that had been thought abandoned. Emergency sessions were called on every major world. Government leaders who had laughed at humanity just days before were now desperately trying to contact Earth to negotiate new diplomatic relations. The balance of power had shifted so dramatically that some civilizations faced complete economic collapse. On Earth, Commander Morrison found himself in the strange position of being the most important diplomat in the galaxy. Alien ambassadors, who had previously treated him with contempt, were now begging for meetings. His small office at the State Department had become the center of galactic politics. "Sir, we have received formal apology messages from 47 different alien governments," reported his assistant, Dr. Grant. "They are all requesting immediate diplomatic meetings to discuss new trade agreements." Morrison smiled grimly. "Many of those governments called us primitive animals just 3 months ago." "All of them, sir?" The transformation was not limited to politics and warfare. Throughout human space, ordinary people were discovering abilities they never knew they possessed. Dr. Stone's research team had documented hundreds of cases where humans seemed to instinctively understand advanced technology. In the Mars colonies, engineer Tom Bradley had somehow modified the terraforming equipment to work 3 times faster than designed. When asked how he knew what changes to make, he could only say that the modifications felt right. On Luna Base, Dr. Sarah Kim had developed new medical techniques that seemed to come from nowhere. Her treatments were curing diseases that had been considered terminal. When pressed for an explanation, she admitted that the knowledge appeared in her mind during moments of deep concentration. "It is like remembering something from a dream," she told Dr. Stone during a video conference. "The information is just there when I need it." The phenomenon was not random. The humans who gained access to architect knowledge were those who worked in fields that served others, engineers who built better homes, doctors who healed the sick, teachers who educated children. The architects had designed their inheritance to reward those who used knowledge to help rather than harm. Meanwhile, the Galactic Confederation was struggling to adapt to the new reality. The hyperspace routes that connected every star system were controlled by architect installations. Those installations now recognized humans as their rightful inheritors. Alien ships could still use the routes, but only with human permission. High Counselor Mordok called an emergency session to address the crisis. The ancient leader looked older than his 800 years as he addressed the assembled delegates. "Fellow beings, we face a situation that no one could have predicted. The humans now control the infrastructure that our entire civilization depends upon. We must find a way to coexist with them, or face isolation from the galactic community." The response was immediate and chaotic. Some delegates demanded military action against Earth, despite the obvious futility. Others proposed offering tribute to humanity in exchange for continued access to the space lanes. A few suggested abandoning their homeworlds and seeking refuge. In distant galaxies, Ambassador Zeekther stood to address the Council. His earlier arrogance had been replaced by desperate pragmatism. "Honored delegates, we have only one realistic option. We must formally recognize human authority over architect installations and negotiate new agreements based on mutual benefit." "You mean surrender?" spat General Thaxmer. "You want us to bow down to the species we called primitive?" "I want us to survive," Zeekther replied coldly. Pride is a luxury we can no longer afford. The debate continued for hours, but the outcome was inevitable. Confederation had no choice but to accept the new reality. A formal delegation was prepared to travel to Earth and negotiate with humanity from a position of weakness rather than strength. Commander, Morrison received the Confederation's message while he was touring the newly activated facility beneath Stonehenge. The ancient stone circle had revealed itself to be a sophisticated communication hub that could contact architect installations throughout the galaxy. They want to negotiate a new galactic charter, he told Dr. Blake as they walked through corridors that had been hidden for millennia. They are offering to recognize human authority over all architect installations in exchange for continued access to the hyperspace network. Dr. Blake nodded thoughtfully. What are you going to tell them? That we are not interested in ruling over other species? Morrison replied. The architects designed us to be teachers and guides, not masters. We will share the galaxy with anyone who is willing to work toward the common good. The negotiations took place on a neutral space station at the edge of Confederation territory. Morrison led the human delegation, accompanied by Dr. Grant and several other specialists. The alien delegation included representatives from every major civilization. All of them nervous about their future. The talks lasted for weeks, but the final agreement was surprisingly fair. Humans would maintain control over architect installations and serve as guardians of the galactic infrastructure. In return, all species would have equal access to trade routes and shared technology. Provided they committed to peaceful cooperation, the new galactic charter established councils where humans and aliens would work together on major decisions. Research facilities would be jointly operated, with human intuition guiding the exploration of architect knowledge, while alien expertise provided different perspectives and approaches. Not everyone was happy with the new arrangement. Some alien factions formed resistance movements, seeking to develop technology that could challenge human authority. But these groups found little support among populations that benefited from increased prosperity and technological advancement. Dr. Grant established the first joint research station in orbit around Earth. Scientists from dozens of species worked alongside humans to unlock the secrets of architect technology. The breakthroughs came rapidly. New medical treatments, advanced energy sources, and improved space travel capabilities. This is what the architects intended, she explained to a gathering of researchers. Not one species dominating others, but all species working together to reach their full potential. Years passed, and the galaxy settled into its new order. Human colonies spread to distant stars, but they carried alien partners with them. Trade between worlds flourished under the protection of ancient guardian systems. Wars became rare as species focused on exploration and discovery rather than conquest. The transformation was not without challenges. Some humans struggled with their new responsibilities, while some aliens resented their changed status. But gradually, a new culture emerged that combined human creativity with alien knowledge and wisdom. Captain Barnes, now Admiral Barnes, stood on the observation deck of Earth's primary space station and watched ships from 100 different worlds dock at the trading ports. Humans and aliens worked side by side, building a future that none of them could have imagined just a few years earlier. The architects would be proud, Dr. Blake said, joining her at the window. Their children have grown up to be exactly what they hoped for. Teachers, not conquerors, Barnes agreed. It took the galaxy 50,000 years to be ready for this lesson.